So you've created your MP3, your podcast, and you've got it ready to go to a hosting site. Here is just one site that you could use. It is called Podbean.com, Podbean.com. But you're going to need to sign up for access to this. Now, to sign up, all that you do is go to the place called Sign Up. Click on that. And it will take you into a screen that will lead you through signing up. But notice there is an advanced option. It's the advanced feature for $4.95. That gives you a few extra things, and you might want to consider doing that. I chose the free because free always works for me. And they also have some more advanced, some professional, and some premium. And these, each one gets a little bit further along with the space that you have and the bandwidth that you have, those kinds of things. It increases how your audio will sound. But for a basic podcast, all that you really need is what is available to you here. And you'll notice that 100 megabytes of storage gives you 100 minutes of audio podcast or 25 minutes of video podcast. So what would be involved then is eventually you're going to need to go in and delete some of your podcasts to make room for the next new podcast that you're getting ready to have. All that you do to subscribe to this or to have this as an option is click on Sign Up Now. Again, it asks you what do you want, and it gives you the parameters between a basic or a basic plus plan and how much it would cost for each. Down below that, it's going to ask you to provide a name for yourself, an account, and then the rest of the information that's required to actually create an account. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. Click on the login, and I've made this so that it saves it for me. You see, here's my name, Ardale Hale, and my password. I'll just put that in again just for my benefit. And click on the login. I'm in. You can tell I'm in because it now says up here, welcome Ardale Hale. Now, I want to publish a podcast. I don't want these options over here are for people that have already created podcasts and you want to subscribe to them. But you want to publish your own podcast. So you click on the Publish a Podcast. Now you're given options. First of all, you'll notice that it gives you your name and it gives you a website where your podcast will be made available. Keep that in mind. That will become useful here in a moment. You can publish, you can upload, you can manage what you have, and you can create a different layout. For now, we're going to need to upload our audio file. So we click on Upload. And then here in the middle, you click on the word Upload again. Now you're going to want to go to your computer and choose the particular file that you want to upload. So I'm going to click on Choose File. And this, because I've just been here recently, this takes you to a spot where all of my podcasts are. And I want to take the last podcast that I created and click on that. It's an MP3 file. That's the only kind of file that you can put here. You click on Open, and you'll see it shows here that 121409 podcast is an MP3, and then all I have to do is click on the word Upload. You'll notice that the maximum file size is limited to 500 megabytes, which means that you have already, if you create a file that's 500 megabytes, you've already exceeded your limits. So I would suggest you keep that rather low. And you can do that by limiting how long each podcast is. Now you can manage your podcasts. You can see here are different podcasts that I've uploaded and some that I have deleted, some that are currently available. I want to, though, show you how this looks at this particular website. So I click on View Site, and this takes you to the site where my podcast would be. So then all I have to do is click on the play button, and you'll hear the podcast that I just uploaded. Now, one of the options that you can have is just to paste this URL into your virtual classroom, and your students would have access to this website. They can subscribe to it, or any number of things here they could have. But I want to embed this into my virtual classroom. So this is the first step in actually creating this podcast. The next thing is to go to an embeddable player for this podcast. So I click on embeddable, and it will take me to a site that gives me the code that will be included in my virtual classroom. So I like this kind of player here, this dark player with a dark background and the green here. So if I just click in there, right click, and hit the copy button. Now all I have to do is go to my virtual classroom and embed it in my class. And this is how you do it. I already have my class opened, so I'll show you how to embed it in a classroom. I'm going to scroll down to, first of all, turn editing on, and then I'm going to scroll down once it finishes loading to the particular spot that I want my podcast to be within the module or within the block. So we'll just scroll down. I think I want to use it in, well, let's put it in this block here. So now I'm faced with an option. Now let's take it on down. I want to embed it in this block here. A really simple thing to do. You click on the editing tool. Remember the hand with the pencil. Click on the editing tool. I'll expand this to large so you can see it. And then I'm going to turn on the HTML text code. That's this button here. So click on that. Because it's at the end, I actually want my podcast to show up a couple of spaces below. So if I just hit the enter button a couple of times, it takes it down there. Now all I have to do is right click and go down to paste. Now don't do anything else. You're fine there. Click on the minimize the editor. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and hit Save Changes. Once it's done loading, we'll scroll down to the bottom of the page where that was and show you here's the file, and all that we have to do, whoops, is click on the play. So I've now embedded my podcast into my classroom. And that, my friend, is how you create a podcast for your virtual classroom.